Good morning. This is Don Schmidt. I am the facilitator this week for the Saturday Sanctuary. I have with me my panelists, my intrepid panelists, Laurie Shin, the everyday shaman. I have Leslie Lane Peabody, the ninja in high heels. And I, of course, am your humble MC for this week, Don Schmidt, the book kahuna. And we also have a special guest in the one blocked out square, but he'll be on in a minute and we'll give an introduction. It's Edward Elliott. So this week we wanted to talk about what makes an entrepreneur go into business for themselves. What is the hero's journey? And what makes a person think differently so that they would want to get out of the business grind and think about doing things on their own and doing things differently? What's the different mindset? And to start off, I'm going to kick this out to the panel and say we know what the clinical application of the hero's journey is, but it's better if you get the application from people who are actually living it while they're doing it. And of course, we're all in different places in how we're doing it and what we're doing, but I think that's the most interesting part of having a discussion about the hero's journey is how each person sees their own journey and how they're taking that journey and the steps that they're taking. So, to start off, I'd like to kick it off to the founder of Saturday Sanctuary, my sponsor, Ms. Leslie Lane Peabody, to talk about her hero's journey and how she views what she's doing and where she's going.
Well, thank you. What a nice thing for you to say. So a hero's journey to me, I don't really think of my life in terms of a hero's journey, right? So I loved that title when we were talking about it. To me, my hero's journey was based out of need, right? I was sitting there one day in a hospital with my sisters, and we were drinking lukewarm hot chocolate, and we were sitting around talking about how we were going to care for my mother, who was deathly ill with kidney disease. And my two sisters didn't live in town. I was the only one that lived in town, and I had children at home I had to care for. I had a job where my butt had to be in the chair in order to get paid, and I didn't know how to care for my mother at the same time I cared for my children. It was the most stressful time of my life, I'd have to say. And out of that grew the desire to find something more, to know that there is more to life than this stress that we go through trying to figure out how to pay the bills. There's a certain level that you have to hit. You have to pay the rent and you have to feed the children. And now I had to care for the mother. Now, thankfully, she had dialysis, and she's on dialysis 3 times a week, like 6 hours a day, 3 times a week. And she is living on her own and doing wonderful. A snappy little yappy dog that kills us every day. Everybody's scared of the dog. She can't even get the dog groomed because the dog is so mean. So my mother is living on her own and doing fabulous, but I never forgot that feeling, right? So a couple years later, I went through a messy divorce. So now I went from a 2-income family to a 1-income single mom, raising 3 children now. I brought another boy into my home, and that's right about the time I brought the new child into my home in August, and I really kicked off my business in October. So August, September, October, in 3 months, I figured out that you got to have more. You got to have a better way to feed your children. I was feeding my children, but only just, right? Just making ends meet. And I wanted more for my family, and that's what drives me, is the desire to have more for my family. I can do more than just pay the bills. I can take my kids someday on a graduation trip that I couldn't do just last year. So as I grow this business, I can see the value of more. And then not only can I see the value of more, I can see the value of sharing what I learn with these children and with my family and friends and showing them a different way. I come from a blue-collar background, right? Everybody works hard for their living. It is nice to see that there are different ways to work hard. Everybody probably has to work hard for their living, but there's physical labor and there's non-physical labor, and then there's fun labor. I find this business into the fun labor category, which I didn't even know existed until about 6 months ago.
That's excellent, Leslie. And well, now we'll switch over to Laurie and find out exactly what her hero's journey was to get to this point, and see what she's been learning, and what she wants to instill and give to us.
Thanks, Dawn. I want to just dovetail with Leslie because she described the hero's journey so eloquently with a story about why she needed to do this and what alternative she really needed to do this. Now, the hero's journey, first off, I love the title because I am a Joseph Campbell freak. You can see, yeah, the power of myth. I've been studying Joseph Campbell for a long, long time, and there are three elements of the hero's journey, and it's the call to adventure. So when Leslie answered the call to adventure, she was actually trying to solve a problem. She not only had kids to feed, and she went from a two-income family to a one-income family, she had a mother who was sick, and she had to figure out what could she do where she doesn't have to have her, what she said, her butt in a seat in order to make a living, and create a life and a lifestyle that's going to accommodate that. So she took that call and she answered the call. And the next step, and if you break it down into 3 steps of the hero's journey, the next step is initiation. She came to this huge obstacle, well, a couple of huge obstacles. Not only did she have 2 of her own kids, she basically took one in and one child in, and that goes to, I mean, that's a big heart. That's a huge heart that Leslie has. And so then she had a divorce, and then she had a sick mother, and then she also had work to do. So those are obstacles to look at, and she could have just said, I'm going back, I'm not doing anything new. But she decided to be an innovator, and she went ahead and she went and figured out what she needed to do, and she decided to work this business. And that was really a very special thing for her to do, because once she decided to be initiated, then she could move forward, and with all of the knowledge she's learned, she could bring it back home to her community, which means she could share it with others. So for me, the hero's journey, I mean, she's living it. So for my hero's journey, I just believe that I'm on the hero's journey every single day. Every single day I wake up, and the call to adventure is like, wake up world, wake up Laurie, wake up and be seen and be heard and bring your message to the world. And then the obstacles are anything that's a distraction, anything that could keep me from doing that. And there's plenty of things. I mean, you know, we sometimes have great health and sometimes we don't. I went through this hero's journey with a couple of months ago with my kitchen being remodeled, and I'll tell you, every obstacle that could come up did. And I decided to hold the vision, because the call to adventure is really about holding that vision of something bigger. And then with this business, I hold that vision of something bigger. And I wake up sometimes and I come up with things that just speak to me. I mean, they're coming through me. They're not, you know, my mind thinking about these things. But one morning, it said, what came through me was, you're thinking too small. Don't think too small. So I am doing my best to think bigger and really, really go for this, because not only for me, but I know it could be so beneficial for other people. I hear people talking all the time about their corporate jobs and how it's not working for them. And then they start complaining. Well, you know what, guys? You have a choice. You have a choice. You can be an entrepreneur and you can work hard and you can learn a lot and you can go for your dreams. But there are people that they don't know. They just don't know what they don't know. And until they are opened up to a new possibility, they will stay in the place of, I don't know, and this is what I have to do, and complaining. Complaining just adds energy and fuel to the fire. So really, I want to see people open up to their greatest self-expression, because if that could happen in the world, we wouldn't be seeing people being shot out of the sky. We wouldn't be seeing wars happening. We wouldn't be seeing that. If everybody was honoring one another with their greatest self-expression, this world would be changed entirely and totally. So that's my mission, is to inspire people to be fully self-expressed. So, and I can't think of anything else to say except, folks, be who you are. Be who you are, because the world really needs it, and you'll never turn back.
Very powerful, Lori. Thank you for giving us that insight into a lot of what the hero's journey means to you. And I wanted to now, Edward, are you on? Edward? No. Okay, Gabrielle? Hello?
Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Just wanted to have you give your instances of the hero's journey and the journey that you're on and where you're going and how you see this whole tie-in with your business and entrepreneurial spirit, and I'll leave it up to you.
Well, whew, it's when I start to think about it, it gets a little emotional. Listening to Lori talk about making the decision to actually take that first step, and I think a lot of that for me. My story kind of relates to Lori's, to Leslie's, where you have that point in your life that you finally just say enough is enough, and realize that there's something more that not only you have to share. Can we come back to that, because this is making me a little bit emotional? it's
Sure.
You know what they say, if
What?
you're not crying, your why isn't big enough. Your why has to make you cry.
Right. That's true.
Well,
It's
then I
working, girl.
yeah. And we've talked about this before. My why at this point is my kids. I had some serious health issues probably about 10 years or so ago. And my daughter, who is brilliant as she is, finished high school early, stepped up to the plate and started working at the age of 17 to take care to take over where I couldn't at that point. And if it weren't for the sacrifices that she made for our family at an age and point in time where she should have been enjoying college and hanging out with friends and just getting herself into that whole area of adult responsibility, I really couldn't tell you where our family would be at this point, or where I would be at this point. And it's time for her to continue to pursue some of the other things that she wants to. She, inside of 5 years, went from being cashier in the company that she works with to being store manager. And in another year went from being 2 years from that store manager to being excuse me, district training manager. And there's so many things that she wants to do and wants to accomplish, and gifts that I see in her that she has to give to the world, that it's time for me to step up. And this gives me the perfect opportunity and the perfect vehicle. And I don't look at myself as being limited, but with, I don't know if anybody has dealt with fibromyalgia, and there are days where, you know, you just cannot do that. 9 to 5 is just not me anymore. I can't do it. It's not an option. As I'm sure we've heard many say, I'm not employable. And that's not because of my health issues, but just because of my mentality and the way I think and my independent thinking. And why should I spend my energies and gifts making someone else wealthy when I can do it for my family, when I can do this and make it so that my daughter can now sit back and pursue some of the things that she's wanted to do. And beyond my family, taking that why to more community, there are people in our community that don't know this is available to them. They don't know that they have the choice. And those that know they have the choice don't know how to go about making this manifest for themselves. So my mission is to be able to show people through what I'm doing how they can make the same choices for themselves and make the life that they want for them and their families, and for our community, and for our world. And you know, just as Lori said, when you open people up to be self-expressed, you make instantaneous changes in the world. And that one little ripple, that one thing that you say, that one thing that you put yourself out there, whether you think anybody is listening or not, begins that ripple in the pond. And we don't know how far it reaches. It's awe-inspiring to me when I think about it, how one person can truly change the world simply by being more of who they are. And this company,
Edward,
yay, welcome back.
I can hear you, Edward.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
back to you. I'm not sure whether I've been really cohesive in explaining, because I'm still at the point where it gets me very overly emotional when I begin to talk about it. So that's where I am, and that's what I want to do, and that's my mission.
Well, that's extremely powerful, Gabrielle. I mean, everyone's got the obstacles to overcome, and you definitely gave us insights into where you are and why you're doing what you need to do. And Edward, are you available to tell us about your hero's journey?
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Awesome. All right, I don't know where to look now because I'm on my iPad. Where should the camera be? Maybe I'll go this way. Yay, computers. Love technology. Awesome.
We can't see the whole face, Edward. There we go. Much better.
Now you can see me.
Now
We're getting better.
So you know my Canada joke, right? I have to tell my
Hey.
Canada joke if
All
you're
right,
up.
tell it.
How did they name Canada? Do you know this
I don't
one?
know.
A
Nope.
bunch of guys put some consonants in a bowl, and the first guy comes up and draws a letter out. C, eh? And the next guy comes out and pulls a letter out. N, eh? And the next guy pulls a letter out. D, eh? And that's how Canada was named. Okay, it was awful, but my kids loved it.
Oh, yay, us Canadians who live up here in igloos all year round. Awesome. Well, first, thanks so much for inviting me here today to hang out with you guys and to share a little bit about what it means to be an entrepreneur. Yes, for myself, I don't know if I really have a hero's journey, but I probably do somewhere in the scope of things. But I was always an entrepreneur from the time I was in college. I never in my adult life I technically had a real job or had a 9-to-5 job. I actually stayed in university and college for longer than probably most people would, about 10 years, just because I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, and that was a safe place to hang out and try to figure it out. But I started my first business, 1998, when myself and a friend of mine, we had a dream and a passion and a vision for something we saw in the future, which was digital advertising on big screens in public places. So if you ever see those plasma screens or LCDs around in different places that advertise to you and make you buy stuff that maybe you didn't think you wanted or know that you wanted, it probably came from something that I started back in 1998. So I started early with my entrepreneurial experience and had lots of success. I grew that business, but success came over time. Like the first 2 years of us with our dream and our passion took before somebody actually else believed in us to make it happen. So imagine having a dream and a vision so strong that you're out there telling everybody about it, but nobody really believes it yet. They can't really see it. When we first told people that these big screens would be everywhere doing this, they cost about $24,000 for a 42-inch LCD. And now they cost like $300 for the no-name brands you can get from other parts of the world. But we saw it, we persevered, and we kept going. And then we became a 6-year overnight success. Yes, it took 6 years, but it seemed like things just happened magically in one day or a week or so when our first major customer came and invested over $50 million to put our solution in every one of their stores across Canada. And that was really the stepping stone to say, hey, this really is going to work and let's go make it happen. So things took off from there. And after about 10 years, everything was going great, but inside of me, there is always something more. It's like, okay, great, I created this and this got created and all these people had jobs and we had about 80 people in our company and everything was wonderful, but for me it's like, well, how can I give more? I was looking for what can I do to help more people that have dreams, that want to succeed, but maybe don't have the same opportunities as I had or believe that they can actually leave their job and do something different. So as I continued my journey personally, I'd found the network marketing industry. I'd found the online marketing businesses and opportunities. And by 2009, I started blogging. I started making videos, I started talking with people, and I was really on a mission to help people to take the dreams that I know they have inside of them and help them make it a reality. And my mission now, after leaving my business after 12 years, so back in 2010, and going on this new journey of like, how can I help people believe enough in themselves that they can take a step and they can take a chance and bring that dream out into the world. And there's never been a greater opportunity for people to make an income from that, to create a business from that, to create a lifestyle from that, as there is right now. And with the opportunity that we have with all of the people here on this panel, there's never been a greater community that I've found in my it's like 5 years of being online and being on this virtual journey, where I get even to meet these people in person too, which is amazing. And there hasn't been a greater time. So have I had ups and downs and twists and turns along the way? Yes. Has there been times where you have to decide whether you're going to buy gas for your car or food for your table? Yes, that stuff happens. When you're going to take a risk, when you're going to live your dreams, things are going to be up and they're going to be down. There's no steady state. Even in the job market today, there's no real steady state. You don't know if you're going to be in, you're going to be out. There's still this perception that it is, but it's not really there. But what somebody once told me, that if you look at a heart rate monitor of somebody's heart, when you're going straight and steady and even like this, what does that tell you?
You're dead.
You're dead.
Yeah. So life is like this. Starts from your heart and keeps going out from there.
I love that story.
So
great analogy.
Amazing.
So if you're ready to choose that you want to step into the dreams that you've always had, because everybody has them. You want to actually become who you're really born to be, as Lori was talking about. We have inside of us this person that we know we're supposed to be. We try to hide it sometimes, try to forget it sometimes, try to wish it wasn't there other times. But when you truly grasp that and you take it and you bring it out to the world, there's people there waiting for it and for you to show up.
That's really powerful, Edward.
Yeah.
You're really hitting it. I have to ask you this question, though.
Sure.
Everyone talks about, I got into, this opportunity, or tell us about how you made it a family affair. Now, was Julie online with this? Okay, we know Abigail's online with this because she's all in. But my question is, like, who was the initiate? Was it you? Was it Julie? And was either one of you like not really on board? And how did that all come to be? And how you made it into a family business?
All right. So if I roll back in time, like I've been with my wife, we met when I was 18, and now I'm 41. So we've known each other for a few years.
Okay.
And she kind of knew what she was getting into when she decided that we should have our life together besides just hanging out. And I was the driver of let's see what's possible and let's do things beyond what's the normal. And even in my family, I'm like the black sheep of the family that does something different and weird and has all the never know what's going to happen kind of attitude with dreams and things like that. Then when our daughter showed up in our life, she really had no choice but to be around us and to be on this journey with us. And having an only child, although that wasn't our choice, we wanted more, but we're blessed that we have an amazing daughter that's with us right now. She had to grow up with all of this stuff around her. She didn't know really any other things. She didn't know like her parents being around all the time or sometimes not being around because we had to go and do other things. And when we were doing network marketing and we were going to the meetings, well, she was like 4, 5, 6 years old. She'd be the one collecting the tickets and the money at the door. and she knew she would network with everybody before things even happened. Like, so people would tell us when we'd meet them, "Oh yeah, I met your daughter, and she was telling us about you." So this has always been a family affair for us. If I want to talk specifically about the Empower Network, I joined the Empower Network after meeting Dave and Dave way back and a bunch of the leaders back in 2011, before Empower Network even started. And while I was doing affiliate marketing and network marketing online. And then I just actually, after I met them and things were going well, I decided, oh, I don't really want to do this, and I just stopped everything and went off and did some consulting and did some side jobs and things like that. Then when I came back, I said, oh, look, this thing that they were doing actually really works. Let me see what it's all about. So I went looking for some of my friends that were doing it and said, hey, found the group that we're with, and I just signed up and said, oh, let me just see what's going on. And then eventually Julie and Abigail saw it too, and they came to me and they said, oh, what's this thing called Empower Network? And I said, well, oh yeah, I'm signed up for that. They're like, you are? Why didn't you tell us? And that was really the beginning of like, okay, we're going to do this together. It is something that we're going to make as part of our family, and we're going to do it. But together also means we're going to do it ourselves.
Right.
So there's,
Right.
It's like we each have our own way of doing things and our own person and our own being to be in the world. But together collectively, we have a purpose of how we can help each other and be together to help more people at the same time.
And it is so wonderful to watch you guys as a family working together. I mean, I just watch you guys when we're at events, and I look at you and I say, that is what my family is going to be like soon, too. Because I haven't taken my children with me yet, and Abby is there, and she is interviewing people in line. I mean, she's a rock star. I love you when you have your family. And, of course, Abby is after my heart because I have children I want to bring in, too. So I love watching your family. You are my family heroes, sitting together, working together, growing together. That's awesome.
Thank you so much. It really has to be, in my opinion, a family thing. And sometimes, like, I'm thankful that I have a family that supports me and we support each other on what we're doing. And I really feel for the people and recognize the people that struggle with not having support from their family in doing this. And I can't imagine what they go through. But their desire and belief and just what's inside of them to want to make this happen for them and themselves just pulls them through.
Excellent.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's amazing.
So, Don, we haven't heard your story yet.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my story, what I was going to tell, is not really what's happening right now, but I will tell a story about how I decided to be an entrepreneur and some of the pitfalls that I've actually faced in what I've been doing. Unlike Edward, I have been working in corporate America for roughly the last 30 years, and in 2004, I was moved out here by a company to be their production manager. I had a department that was very difficult that I inherited, and over time, I actually built my own department, and we had probably the best manufacturing production department in publishing because I put it together piece by piece, all the people that I wanted to be involved. And we were doing about 60 books a year, and they were selling, and we were winning awards left and right at the library conference. And 2008 came, and at the same time, I had been in a relationship with a woman who was battling ovarian cancer, and it was a long struggle. and unfortunately, in early 2008, she succumbed. And it was at that time, a week later, where I had to pick two people from the department that I had built from scratch and turned into probably the best publishing department, and had to pick two people to go out the door. And it was at that time that I said, you know what? This sucks, and I'm going to look for something else. And it was like, you know, a Derek Jeter swing to the head. I gotta get out of here, because this has happened to me 3 times in my past, and now 4. And there's got to be something different and something better that I can use my own brain power and my own sweat to build. And that's when I went to the Merchant Mart here off of 58th and I-25, and they were having a franchise seminar on all different kinds of franchises that you could build. And I decided that I was really interested, and always had been interested, in the vending business. And I invested over $50,000 into building a vending business. Now, has my vending business been successful? Well, I paid off the initial money in 4 years when it was a 5-year loan. The other part about it was, which is really part of the whole hero's journey, I knew nothing about vending. I knew nothing about the machines. I knew nothing about, you know, what I was going to have to do to make this work. But all I knew was that I was going to do this, and I was going to make it work. I've spent countless nights, 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, ripping machines apart because they had problems. I've had a part where, and it's hard to explain, but let's put it this way. There's 2 parts to this particular part. The one part initially cost $5 to replace. The company that makes both parts decided that we're not making enough money off of just selling the one part, so we're going to only sell it as the 2 parts together, which is $40. And there's 25 to 30 of these parts in the machine, and they break all the time. I was like, this is going to put me out of business. I can't keep replacing these parts. And you know what? After months and months and months of thinking, I figured out the answer. And it was as easy as, it was right in front of my face. You know what it was? Zip ties. Because what happens is, it's the 2 little plastic feet that hold the motor that turns the auger that drops the candy. The 2 plastic feet would break off when people tilted the machine. But since there's 2 holes, and you could fit the zip tie around the motor, it's actually better than the original design. So in other words, I came up with something that's better, and it's not going to put me out of business. And that, to me, is like where I hit the obstacle that was going to either make me break or go forward. Right there.
I love that story, Don. That was an awesome story.
And I, you know what? I should show you the part. I don't know if I have one. It's out in the garage. But you know what? Next week I'll show you.
Post a blog.
But now that everything's paid off, and I figured out how to keep the machines going, and now what everyone talks about, you know, with Empower is, hey, when you get that first commission, you know, I know what that's like. Because you know what? When you place your machine and you go in a week later and you pull out the little tray and there's all quarters in there, you're like, this works. I know what it's like. I know what it's going to be like when I get my first commission check, because I've started a business and gone in and had all the little bills in the bill, you know, validator. I'm like, yeah, okay, this works. Now I just have to build it. And seriously, they're complementary. Okay, this is all complementary, because it's actually my whole umbrella is, an S Corps. So, the Book Kahuna and Scoot Dad Vending is all under one thing, and that's why I am going to use everything to build my vending route, because you know what? It's not the individual machines that make it something that's a viable product. You know what the real product is? When you build the route, and then you can sell the route of 25, 30 places where your machines are for a couple $100,000. That's what it's about. So, that's not the hero's journey that you were hoping to hear as far as what's happening now, but it is what has been happening over the last 6 years. And as I've explained before, I'm living the Green Mile right now. If you go through that, the whole thing with, so, but that means that I'll have a longer life to be more successful because I'm living the Green Mile now. So
That
I
was
will.
a little nebulous. You're going to have to explain it later, but I don't know this is the right place. But I don't think that your story is inappropriate, because the whole point of this, the hero's journey, there are so many varied ways that heroes take the journey. And look at the backgrounds of all of us. We're all so drastically different. And look, we all wound up in essentially the same place, doing our own thing. And that, to me, is the power of what we have here. We're all doing our own thing, just like Edward and his family. They're all doing the same thing, but then they're all doing their own thing, right? So there's a certain amount of family involved in this business, and there's a certain amount of independence involved in this business. We're the same, yet we're drastically different. And that, to me, is where you need to come from when you're on your own journey. You can come from varied backgrounds, but it's interesting that we all wound up here and said, this is the ultimate solution. And we run it differently. We do it our own way. We're still not employable, like Gabrielle says. I love that. We're not employable. Some of us still are employed, but we're working on it. But it's amazing that we all wound up the same place. We all see this as the right tool, the right ultimate vision for our businesses and our vision and what we're sharing. We're all sharing people too. That's the part that I don't think that you really talked about today, Dawn, because your business, the publishing business, is the sharing business, the sharing of what we've learned with others. And that's why we do these Hangouts every Saturday, is because we are so excited about what we learned. We want to share with you. One of the smartest things you can ever do is watch somebody else and don't make their mistakes. We've made a lot of mistakes together, and we're still making them. Please learn from us, children, right? That's
Leslie, the funny thing about the publishing business is a sharing business, but I used to, because I was part of the Broomfield Chamber and I was in a leads group, and I used to go to the leads group meeting every week, and we had people there who were estate planners and lawyers and people who helped you with your mortgage, and here I am, I'm like the vending guy, and whenever it was my turn to speak, I was always like, well, helping somebody with their estate planning and helping their parents and stuff is, it seems a little, it's not on the same level as like helping somebody get a Snickers bar or a bag of Doritos, you know what I mean? But it is in a way, because at that particular time in life, that's what they need and that's what they want. I need a Coke and I need a Snickers bar. So you know what? I'm helping out.
I got to tell you, last night I had a bad day and I needed chocolate. I was working late in the office. I went office to office and found a chocolate bar.
Honey. Yeah, well, the thing is, too, is that even though we are independent and we are also a part of kind of a family, we have mentors to look up to. And, we have sponsors, first off, that sometimes they're there and sometimes they fly the coop. And then, but we that's the thing with Empower, is that there are so many different kinds of mentors, and they are as different as we are. And if there's somebody we resonate with, we can reach out to them, and they're really quite kind. And I mean, these are people who are doing quite well. And you know, money isn't everything, but Zig Ziglar said it's up there with oxygen. And when you're making money, it's a performance-based thing. These people are successful because they've worked the business and they know what they're doing. So if we want to reach out to somebody, even, you know, I mean, Dave Wood had me and Leslie and Don on a hangout, and he's one of the founders of the Empower Network. Now, how cool is that? I mean, you just don't see that in any other network marketing company unless you've reached the ranks of whatever they call it, like a diamond or a double diamond or whatever they call it in whatever business it is. So that's the thing too that excites me. It's, you know, we're all in this together, and if we don't do well, our leaders aren't going to do well either. So, and they really, really, really want to help. So that's exciting. You know, if you go to a CEO of a corporation, if you can get you know, beyond the gatekeepers, and you know, unless you're a rainmaker and you know some decision makers, you will never get outside even their door of their office. I mean, I don't know if you can go up to somebody in Walmart or I don't know, I'm picking on people that I don't like Monsanto or someplace, but you know, you're never going to have access to those people. So think about that. And people talk about, oh, this is a pyramid. Well, I'll tell you, corporate America is a big pyramid. And if you don't like corporate America, don't complain. Change your life. Shift your belief system. You can do this. That's my message.
Gabrielle?
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Do you have any thoughts on what Laurie was just saying? Just wanted to reach out and see.
It's one of those mornings, guys.
That's okay.
We like your picture, though.
Say that again.
We like your picture.
It kind of it pulsates.
I'm having technical difficulties. I'm getting used to a new laptop, and I've had Windows 8 for a week, and you guys know I'm a Mac girl. It's been trying to figure out where stuff is and to get stuff working properly. But I with what Laurie said, I don't have a whole lot more to add to that, other than the fact that, you know, I've been in I've worked in several different environments. I worked as a housing director at one of the major universities in the city I lived in, and kind of close to the top of the upper echelon. And even in that respect, where you have, I would say, a bit more freedom to express yourself than you might have in a corporate situation. You still have people you have to answer to. And it's not that you don't have people you have to answer to when you work for yourself or when you create what you want, but you have to work within their guidelines. And there would be so many occasions where I would butt heads with my supervisor, who just happened to be my mother during that point in time, because you think differently. One of the things that, we were saying that I was kind of agreeing with Edward is I'm the black sheep of my family. My family is progressive and as liberal as they are. And I don't know how much you guys are familiar with African American culture. And if there's such thing as a conservative liberal, then that's what my family and extended family structure is. And I am nowhere near conservative. I know that there are people in my life that think I am, because you know how you have to hide and suppress certain things just to keep other people comfortable. There would be situations at work where I'm just like, well, that's just plain dumb. And you can't say that even if it's not your mother, but it's just, so you find yourself having to do things and go along with things, and every time you're in situations like that, you kill off a little bit of yourself. Something dies a little bit. And moving from that environment into retail management, which was a little bit more freeing. I was a manager for one of the major bookstores for about 6 years. Loved it. And what I loved about it was, A, being around books, which meant I spent 90% of my income on their product. But I got to be with people, and I got to be able to I won't say mold or shape, but you have a customer come in and they don't know what it is that they're looking for, and you have that interaction, and you get to guide, and you get to lead, and you get to expose them to thoughts and ideas that they might otherwise not have come across. So that was very uplifting for me, and it was the path, it was the journey that led me to the realization that I'm not like everybody else or the people that I seem to have gathered around. I am the black sheep of my family. I am unemployable, particularly if I'm put in a situation where I have to answer to a corporate structure. Because you've got people that are sitting up in an office somewhere that, like Lori said, you never get to see, that are making decisions for things that you have to do on a daily basis, and are getting extraordinarily rich off of your effort and energy and life force. And I knew there had to be a better way. And I've tried several different companies and several different opportunities and doing freelancing on my own, and I loved that for a while. I was just so gung-ho about it until I realized I still had a boss. It was my business, but I still had a boss, and that boss was my client. And when they wanted to do silly, unthinkable things, I had to do them because they were paying me. And that got old very quickly. And I kind of lost the mojo for a while and just didn't do anything. I would do freelance stuff here and there. And then I don't exactly remember how I found Empower. I don't remember how but it just came slapping me in the face. I mean, over about a 6-month period, I would say Empower here, Empower there. What is this thing? And I'm an extremely skeptical individual. So, and after being burned a couple of times in network marketing, I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. But after listening to people like Dave Wood and being exposed to people like Ava Manicki, and it was just one person after another, and the vision just seemed to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And I've never seen anything that encompasses something that fits anybody. It fits anything that you want to do. You know, you can market our products or not, but you can use those products to market and build and inspire and help anybody, anything. And this is going to be phenomenal. I mean, everybody should come along for the ride. This is going to be a roller coaster like nothing else.
I think you said something really critical right there, Gabby, because a lot of people do not understand that. My children didn't understand that until I sat down and talked to them a little bit. What do? We share a tool that works for everyone who is in business. And they're like, what do you mean? It's like Word. Does everybody use Word or know what Word is? Does Word work for every business? Does every business need it? Yes. It is one of those basic tools that everybody needs. And we have the bitty one that you can enter in. Our cost of entry is really cheap. It's $25 a month, right? You can do this for as little as $25 a month, or you can do the full package suite, which constantly gets added onto because, you know, you always need to learn and grow, right? But there is not a business that doesn't need Word or Excel or PowerPoint, right? Every business needs that in some way. This is the same type of thing. It's one of your basic tools, and you can go minimal, or you can include Access, and you can include whatever else is there, right?
Well, also, not to let me interject here. Not just that, but even after you purchase the core products, they're ever changing. It's not like you purchase something and it goes stale and you have to purchase something new. It's constantly being refreshed and updated. So it's not like you're working off of material that worked 6 months ago or a year ago or 5 years ago. You're constantly getting new stuff added to the products that you already have. Right. So I mean, the value is phenomenal. The education, you know, I'm kind of like Edward. I stayed in school a lot longer than, you know, the norm because it was comfortable. It was like, well, you know, they tell me I should be doing this, but I don't really want to do that, so I'll go over here. Changed majors 3 times, a double major in bachelor's and master's degree. But out of the money that and I'm still paying off college loans, but from the money spent for that education, and even at our basic level, what you get is so much more. You and not only it's up to date, but you know that people, it's tried and true because you know that people have used this. You see people who have had success with this. This is like out in the field, case study information, and if you do what they tell us to do, is to learn, do, and teach, then, you know, there's no reason why you can't be successful at it. Income disclosure, link below somewhere, I know, and based on your own work ethic and your own efforts. But it's phenomenal, and I don't say that about things very much, ever.
That's awesome.
Sorry for the interruption, but I just wanted people to know that.
That's great. So, Dawn, we're at the top of the hour. Did you want to do the call to action here?
Well, I actually wanted to throw it out to Edward to give his final views on what's transpired over the course of this hour, and see if he wants to come back and join us again, and maybe bring some more family members to be on with us.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Don. It's been a pleasure to hang out with you guys and ladies today. It's amazing. It's really amazing. I think you said it earlier, Leslie, how we all came together. Like the Empower Network is a place, and I've been in a lot of networking companies and businesses and things, but the Empower Network is a place where you will go and see a whole bunch of people that probably in no other time or place or situation in your life you would be together. There's no external, normal, worldly circumstances that would bring all these different types of people together. But there they are together with the same dreams, the same vision, the same passion, which is to live out what's inside of them, to know that there's more for themselves, more for their family, more for the world. And they're willing to step into it and make a choice and just do it. So, is everybody here ready to make that choice? I know we are here on the panel. We already made the choice. We made the decision. We're on the journey. Is it going to be easy? Is it going to be like this? Nope. We're not dying. We're keeping on going. And we're going to make it happen. And whoever wants to come along on this journey, we're here for you.
Amen.
Yeah.
That was beautiful, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. We're here for you. We're here for you, and we know that you're here to be self-expressed and fully self-expressed.
Yes.
So
You as you.
make the decision. Like Edward said, we're here. We've done it. We've made the decision. We want to see you here with us.
And one thing too you have to think about, it's called the hero's journey, not the hero's destination. So in other words, it's a continuous process. It's not like, hey, I get there, I'm done. You're always on the journey. Even when you go over the obstacles and have the different things that confront you during the course, you will never get to the end because you are on the journey. So join us for the journey. It's going to be a good one.
It's a good ride, right? And
Yeah.
as you said, we don't all have family in this, and what you see is a collection of misfits. We're the misfit toys, right? So we got together and we created our own family here, and we get together every Saturday and sometimes during the week. So if you don't have that support at home like Edward does, if your family isn't there with you, become part of our misfit family. I love these guys. They give me inspiration and guidance every week. So when I go out there, nobody else thinks that I'm normal because you got a job. What the hell are you doing? I come back here to be centered and say, yes, I have a job, but look what else I could have. Look what more I could have. And this is my family that keeps me centered. Don't tell my mother or my children, but this is where I come for family, to be supported, to be gathered in and embraced, right? It's these people that have created my family in this company.
Absolutely. Make the decision. Just get off the fence. And you know what? You know, it is a journey. If it isn't, you're flatlining. Stop flatlining. Your life is important. It's ready to be lived right now. Come on board. Get on board now.
Gabrielle?
You guys have said it. Lori, Leslie was right in my head because as soon as Edward said black sheep, I was like, yeah, we got a group of misfits here. I have, even before I met you guys personally, face to face, and before I met a lot of the people in the first event, you feel embraced when you come into this company. If you open yourself up to that, you know, you can't sit back on the sidelines and watch and not participate and not engage yourself with other people. And if you're willing to do that, step out of your comfort zone, take that first step. You know, we got arms to catch you. We might throw you back out in the wolves and up in the air, but yeah, we'll still catch you.
I love it. So what you see for most of us are links that you can join us. Join our links below, and then Don, when we close out this hangout, he'll post all of our links. You have figured out which one you love. Which of us do you think is going to be the right person for you? Because you just have that special intuition about us. Pick one of us. Join us. We're going on the journey now. Every day, it's like this big ball, and it's rolling down the hill, and it gets bigger and bigger and gaining momentum. So get on board now. Join the link today. If you take one tiny step a day, at the end of a week, you'll have taken 10 steps. And that adds up to something pretty big. So today, click a link, put your name, put in your email, take your first step today. Join with us and start your hero's journey. Are you ready?
And you can even join me and be on the caboose with square wheels.
Awesome.
And
How
on
awesome is that?
How awesome is that? And we drag them on anyway.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
And on
fast
that-
or slow, you know. If you're going, you're going. You know, the train is leaving. Don't be there without it. I mean, don't stay at the station without us.
No, we're a lot of fun. All right,
So,
John.
any parting words, or should we? This is it. The call to action is join us, and we will embrace you and take you to the next level with us.
Mhm.
So,
Awesome.
okay. Well, thank you all for this Saturday Sanctuary, and we will see you next week. And we will have all the links, and we will just say goodbye for now. Bye bye.
Adios.
Bye.
See ya.